I tell you something, my respect for central bankers has grown significantly in the last 5 years. And I come from a banking background, somebody who is well aware of how corrupt commercial banking and personal banking is, how it's a rigged system with the banking industries. And I didn't know very much about central banking before I started reading up on Mark Carney, I will admit. But I did know enough to know that central banking and retail banking are not the same thing. But then along comes Jerome Powell, right? We see Mark Carney in action, and then we see Jerome Powell, right? Jerome Powell is standing 10 toes down on business, man. He is the only thing standing between Trump and the demise of the American economy and harm to the American people at the moment. And Trump has been after Jerome Powell since 2018. But the thing about criminals like Trump is when they think they're untouchable, they always go too far. They always go too far. And Trump attacking Jerome Powell is very dangerous for Trump and the White House. And apparently behind the scenes in the White House, they're panicking about this because they're really afraid of what the bond markets and the stock markets are going to do with Trump making a play to take control of monetary policy in the US. See, Trump tried this in 2018, and the markets reacted really strongly at the time. This time around, they haven't acted as strongly yet over the subpoenas being issued because it's become that whole, we've become desensitized to it. Investors have become desensitized to it. I mean, who isn't Trump attacking on a daily basis? And they know that the investors are banking that these subpoenas won't mean anything. However, the people who are nervous are Republicans themselves. There is one notable parallel, though. Both times Republican lawmakers voiced rare disagreement with Trump with an eye towards insulating the Fed from political pressure that could damage the U.S.'s financial standing and stoke inflation. Jerome Powell issued a statement Sunday night. I'm sure most people have seen it. If not, I reposted it. You can go into my reposts and find it. He, in his video message, he didn't mince words. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public rather than following the preferences of the president, he said. Part of the reason why he's emboldened to do this is evident in what came next. Gold soared and the dollar fell, both indications of rising worries about Fed independence, and GOP lawmakers started to speak up in his defense. Administration officials, including Trump himself, distanced themselves from the probe. Also, the Supreme Court doesn't seem to be with Trump on this. They seem interested in preserving the central bank's autonomy. The justices went out of their way in an unrelated case last year to suggest that the Fed has special legal status, perhaps in anticipation of an adverse market reaction to their move to reduce the political independence of other regulators. And this is where Powell has the power and the upper hand. Because despite the fact that the government, that Trump is directly trying to attack the Federal Reserve, the fact that he's standing strong, Powell is standing strong right now, it's keeping the markets steady. But if the markets really did think that the Fed was going to make policy based on the whims of the president rather than considered judgments about what's best for the economy, it would likely be a financial bloodbath. And this works against Trump's own interests, both within and outside of the central bank. One of the main conclusions was that this makes Powell more likely, rather than less, to stay on as a regular governor after his chairmanship ends. His term on the Fed board runs until 2028, and the Trump administration would much rather have another ally in that seat. Also, it was reported about a month ago, I think it was, or 2 months ago, Jerome Powell also made a move to solidify the board for the next 2 to 4 years, I think it was. Even though their appointments weren't up for months from when he did it, he made sure he's protecting the Federal Reserve from the inside against the Trump administration as much as he can before his term is up. And Jerome Powell is not backing down. There was great speculation that he was going to leave in May, but now people are saying no, he's not planning to leave. Also, the investigation is very murky. It's not legally sound. I mean, there's no reason for it. So they're scrambling, trying to find legal standing in order to bring it. And it'll be interesting to see how the Supreme Court rules in the Cook case, which is a Fed board member, that Lisa Cook, that Trump fired and didn't have the authority to fire. That case is going before the Supreme Court, and oral arguments are going to start on January 21st. If the justice rules that the president has sufficient amount of latitude in firing Fed officials for cause, a statutory standard that has never before been litigated, it could spark a market reaction because investors aren't expecting a blow to Fed independence. And if there's a hint that Jerome Powell's job could be on the line, that could be disastrous for Trump and the American economy. Central bankers, man, tough as fucking nails. Anyways, say no to Christo-fascism and have a day.